And in Northeast Africa, a canine unit that detects illegal wildlife and wildlife products was launched at the Bole International Airport. You see, wildlife trafficking in Ethiopia has been so rampant that the government looks defeated in handling the menace. The African Wildlife Foundation handed over the 4 equipped detection dogs trained in deterrence and detection of illegal wildlife and wildlife products, and also their handlers, to Ethiopian Wildlife Conservation Authority.
A recent report has highlighted alarmingly low conviction rate for wildlife crime, underlining a troubling trend in Ethiopia's efforts to combat it. Despite the country's rich biodiversity and the importance of wildlife conservation, legal frameworks and enforcement mechanisms are struggling to keep pace with the growing threats posed by poaching and illegal trafficking. According to Didi Wamukoya, law enforcement manager at the African Wildlife Foundation, weak legislation, inadequate detection and prosecution processes, sophisticated trafficking networks, and corruption continue to pose serious threats to wildlife in Ethiopia and Africa at large. The foundation analyzes legal frameworks and cases to enhance prosecutions in several African countries, including Ethiopia. It also runs a court monitoring program in 4 countries that include Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, and Tanzania. The report indicates that wildlife crimes in Ethiopia have a conviction rate of 42%. With the majority of suspected offenders walking free after being detained. This is largely due to poor evidence handling practices. In neighboring Kenya, the conviction rate is 84%, with a similar proportion of offenders facing sentencing in Tanzania. Data from the Ethiopian Wildlife Conservation Authority corroborates the report's findings. Many offenders receive minimal penalties or are acquitted due to insufficient evidence or procedural challenges. This has led to a perception of impunity among poachers and traffickers, further exacerbating the crisis. The report indicates that Bole International Airport has become a hub for traffickers due to the lax penalties imposed by Ethiopian law. Countries like Kenya mandate a 20-year prison sentence for endangered species trafficking. Tanzania and Uganda also have relatively better prosecution for wildlife crimes. And now, in what seems like a knee-jerk reaction, the government of Ethiopia is acting. A canine unit that detects illegal wildlife and wildlife products was launched at the Bole International Airport. The African Wildlife Foundation handed over 4 equipped detection dogs trained in deterrence and detection of illegal wildlife and wildlife products and their handlers to Ethiopian Wildlife Conservation Authority. Speaking on the occasion, Tourism Minister said Ethiopia is home to both fauna and flora of various species, but they need protection from traffickers, crimes, and losses of habitats.
The establishment of this canine unit is not only for Ethiopia. As you know, Ethiopian Airlines is the airlines of Africa. Is a very huge hub that carries travelers from all over Africa. So it would indirectly contribute to the protection of wildlife in other parts of Africa as well. So it is a very big accomplishment.
Ethiopian Wildlife Conservation Authority Director General said that illegal wildlife trafficking is one of the challenges threatening many endangered wildlife species in Ethiopia and in the region at large. He added that wildlife trafficking not only harms wildlife resources, but also undermines economies, legal livelihoods, peace and security in affected countries.
Wildlife crime is one of a serious problem even globally, and we have been facing the same challenge here in Ethiopia as well. So it's one of our law enforcement activities because we do law enforcement right at the protected area using our rangers, ranger force, and but the crime is not only limited to the protected areas or the area close to the protected areas, but there is also trafficking and the smuggling problem.
Ethiopia is undertaking numerous measures to mitigate challenges of wildlife crimes in the nation and the region, including increasing border and airport checkpoints and checkpoints along major travel routes. The deployment of the canine unit at Bole International Airport with the support of the African Wildlife Foundation is an important step to deter wildlife crimes. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.